welcome back to my channel. Look, I did it. I'm sitting up in bed. I did have a little help from my hubby. He is so wonderful. He has made me coffee. He said, do you want, oh, look, I get the Air Force mug. He said, do you want coffee in a mug or do you want it in a Tervis? And I was like, I was back and forth because I wasn't sure when he asked me, I wasn't sure if I'd be able to sit up. I also don't know how long I'll be able to sit up in bed. So if you guys have been along on the journey, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But if you haven't, let me take my first sip and I'll tell you all about it. We're an Air Force family now. I married into an Air Force family. So when all of this first happened and I really couldn't sit for a minute was long. Sorry, it is tight because I guess I'm using muscles that I really didn't use for a while because this is a different situation. So I'm rubbing my leg. I'm not, you know, scratching or anything. I'm just holding pressure down on my thigh and rubbing it. So when I first hurt myself and before the medication kicked in and for all the tests and everything, I really was only able to sit for like less than 60 seconds. I could not sit up in bed. And even as the time went by and I was able to sit up for longer and longer, I still couldn't sit up in bed. There were the mechanics of my hip. So where the pain was the whole time I tried to sit up in bed was in my hip, not just my thigh. So what it did was it felt like my hip hurt and it was twisting my thigh and then twisting my knee. But primarily, I was worried that I shouldn't be doing that. That was uncomfortable and that hurt a little bit. But mostly I was worried that I just shouldn't be doing that. Sorry, just a little close. So I avoided it at all costs. Like it hurt and it hurts now. It's not unbearable pain though. So that's where we're at. I don't know how long I'll be able to sit here for, but hey, I'm here now. That's what counts. So I wanted to touch base a little bit about the test results. So yesterday, I shared on my Instagram that at 6 o'clock, it was like 5 after 6, that I hadn't heard from the test results. I hadn't received the test results yet from the PET scan. The PET scan being the nuclear bone scan, that was apparently a PET scan. I don't know what PET stands for, but I should look that up. Alexa, what does PET stand for in a PET scan?
According to an Alexa Answers contributor, it stands for positron emission tomography, or PET. The scan is an imaging test that helps reveal how your tissues and organs are functioning. A PET scan uses a radioactive drug called a tracer to show this activity.
That's exactly right. So I did have a PET scan. So at 6 o'clock, I hadn't received any results. So I went on there and I just let everybody know. I said, you know, he worked till 6 o'clock the night before. So maybe 6 o'clock was the time he worked till. So I got on there. And at 6:57 p.m., I got test results. And they were like reading IKEA instruction. No, IKEA doesn't put their instructions in words. They were like reading stereo instructions in a foreign language. And honestly, they were. I grabbed words at a time and tried to like look them up and put the sentences together of what they meant. And then I tried Googling the entire sentence of diagnosis, and that was impossible because it broke down just to pieces. And so finally I just reached out to my friend, and I didn't want to bother her. You know, she's never a bother, she said, but still, you know, she works hard and has a family of her own, and I just didn't want to bother her, whether or not she was working. So I did end up doing that though, because I couldn't make it out. So I just wanted her to kind of break it down for me. And if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, I have a friend who's a doctor, um, who, she's just been an amazing friend during this whole journey of YouTube. You know, she was like one of my first friend mails, my surprise friend mail actually. Um, and has been extensively generous. I don't know how else to say it, but anyway, it's gonna make me cry just thinking about her. So I did send her all the tests, and then she called me and we talked, and it. I just want to say, like, I have to speak to my oncologist on Monday, but it doesn't look great. Um, so we're dealing, like, and we want to make sure we get a confirmation. But I trust her. I trust her expertise. I trust her explicitly, and I'm grateful that she called me and told me that it wasn't great, because I don't know, sometimes getting bad news from somebody that you love is better than getting bad news from a stranger. Does that make sense? But I'm still very positive about it, because I don't think that I know that it's all treatable. To what extent, we don't know yet. I mean, you know, they did the PET scan of my vessels and soft tissue just on my lower legs, but they did the whole PET scan on my bones from head to toe. And I had a feeling at the PET scan that something was up, because he did full body and then he went back and did my chest. He redid my chest, and the left side of my chest, because the machine just sat here. And then he redid he said he was doing my skull, but he made me look away, and he did like this area here. And what it looks like, according to the results that he gave, is that I have abnormalities, we'll just call it right now, that are in basically my upper arm bone, my sixth rib on my left side, my right collarbone, my left shoulder blade, and then my T7 vertebrae. There's like two, she described it as there's two little spikes in the back and then one spike in the middle. The spike in the back on the right is showing something. So that's that. So out of all the different things, and I was like, oh, that explains my shoulder. That explains why my shoulder is so bad. But I'm still very hopeful. I will, you know, like, hey, I haven't gotten any reason not to be. So that there's the confirmation of the lesion in my leg seems to be sort of like invasive, characteristic of, what did they say? He specifically, it said like characteristics of an aggressive, I'm trying to remember the exact words, I'm sorry. It wasn't characteristics, it was likely aggressive. Man, maybe I'll try to I already screenshot the report. Maybe I'll try to put the highlighted area on the screen. Aggressive. Oh man, that's gonna drive me crazy. Polystatic neoplastic. That's what it was. Aggressive neoplastic lesion. That's what it was. The aggressive neoplastic lesion. So I've heard neoplastic before, so I know what that word means. But anyway, so we'll see. I mean, I still have to go. She said, you call your oncologist tomorrow, which today is tomorrow. Tomorrow, you're watching this today. Actually, you know what? Today is Sunday. It is very early. Perhaps I'll post this today. Because there's no point in me talking about speculation today when I'll know tomorrow when it's posted. So let's post this today. So today is Sunday, and you'll see this on Sunday at 8 a.m. That's it's all happening live. So the tomorrow, call the oncologist and tell him, all right, here's what it is. What are we doing? Let's go. Let's get started. And she said, don't accept any date later than Wednesday. Actually, she said, and I want to start taking care of this on Wednesday. So I said, oh, you know, my sister's coming on Tuesday, so that'll be perfect. She's like, she is? And I was like, yeah. Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm. But that's it. And I told Jim, and Jim is very emotional, obviously, but we didn't really, how do I say this? I'm not complaining. First of all, this is not complaints. This is just about like my needs and are they being met? And complaining would be, I don't know. I just feel like complaining isn't the right word, but I've communicated that my needs are this, are such, and it would be okay if they got mad, if that makes any sense. It'd be all right with me if you met my needs. But basically, he heard what he heard, and he broke down, and he ran out. And he decided to go and vlog, and he said, I don't know if I'm going to post it, because it was just all emotions and whatever, but I was like, yeah, but you left me. Like I told you, it may not be good, and you left me. You had your emotions, and you left, and you left me. So afterwards, I was sitting here, and I calmed him down, and it took a while. And I was laying here, and I was not ignoring him, but I wasn't really like consoling him. And then when he was calmed down, he was done, and he was getting ready to go out, I just said, could I have a hug? Like I may have potentially gotten a really bad diagnosis, and you basically owned it and ran away and left me alone with it. And I do know that a lot of men, I've seen it on TV, I've seen it in real life, a lot of men react this way. They don't know how to deal with it. But I am very proud, or I have been in the past, very proud of our relationship and how we've always communicated what we want and need. I know over the last several years, his communication has broken down quite a bit. Mostly because in the past, I've always been in a position to meet his needs. And they might not have been today. And he's appreciated patience. You know, like, I want to do this. I want to go here. I want to buy this. Can we change this? Can we do that? And, you know, usually it's like, yeah, that's a great idea. Let's plan it out. Let's save our money, da, 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 da. And I've always been able to meet his needs like that. But since we moved here and I haven't really made the money like he has, it's been a lot different. You know, his needs have changed and my ability to fulfill them has changed as well. So we've had to like relearn the communication. I wanted to let you know that I'm not really crying, but my right eye is really watery. And I took my allergy medicine last night, but I don't know. I feel like I'm just having like an allergy attack. And I'm sorry I keep touching it, but it's dripping and it's like irritating. Get a patch. Oh, down my tummy. Sorry. I want to get my sanitizer if I'm going to keep touching my eye. Okay. Oh, I did not mean to turn the TV on, but that's okay. It doesn't make any noise. Okay. And I understand. So, like, I've always prided myself. I've always had pride in the fact that I communicate my needs rationally. Sometimes, most of the time, I communicate my needs rationally. I won't lie and tell you that I don't lose my cool every once in a while. Like yesterday was kind of like the perfect example where I have been trying to get him like to do things that I want as opposed to just taking care of my needs. He's been so busy taking care of my needs that my wants aren't been met. And I know that that sounds so selfish and I don't mean it to, but I think you can kind of have an idea of what I mean. Like it's been like the bare minimum of taking care of me. Like make sure I have food. Is it food that I want? No, not always. Is it food that's good for me? No, really not always. It's just food that he has the energy to cook. And that's what I'm saying. I'm not at all being ungrateful or holding him accountable or any of that. It's just that I'm saying that's how I'm saying my wants aren't being fulfilled. So, and we've talked about it. And yesterday he ripped through the guest room and the house like a bat out of hell, trying to get everything for my sister to come. And I appreciate that so much because I can't do it. However, it made me feel like a little selfish. It did. It made me feel a little bad at the moment because I'm like, you're putting all of it. And when Jim cleans like that, he gets like excited. But I was like, you're doing all this and you don't even put like 10% of that effort into doing what I want you to do. And it hurt. Like, I won't lie and tell you that it didn't hurt. So, yeah. But this is just me. This is just me sharing. This is just me sharing my experiences with you guys. So we talked and that was what was important. And then, after we talked yesterday, after getting what could potentially be quite bad news, we talked again a little bit about, hey, I love you. And I understand that this is really hard on you. And you are going to be going through a lot. But listen, it really can't be about you right now. And it sounds selfish. But, it just can't right now. And he said, no, I know. I'm sorry. I understand. And I know he does. But it's hard to get out of your own way sometimes. Especially for Jim. I noticed that he has trouble at sometimes getting out of his own head, getting out of his own way. Like, I say, like, why do you self-sabotage? But really, I feel like that's what it is sometimes. Is like, he just can't get out of his own way. This is ADHD possibly. But anyway, so that's where we're at with that. I don't know much more today. The oncologist I'll speak to tomorrow, I will start calling him at 8 a.m. if I don't hear from him before 8 a.m. I was actually wondering, I was like, do you think I'll hear from him on a Sunday? But I am very, very grateful that I have her as a friend because it's a different perspective than any of my other family and friends has, if that makes any sense. So you come up from a clinical standpoint as well. So not only is she caring and concerned, but she's also an advocate. She's also knows what we could expect. So it's besides the fact that she's amazing, she's great to have as a friend. Just everybody should have a friend like her, you know, little guardian angel who watches out for you and stuff. So anyhow, let's reel this back in. This might be real tears in a second. On a more personal note, I do finally have my new IKEA boxes in-house because they were in the storage facility. If you're interested, we finally gave away the queen size mattress and bed frame. I posted it on Facebook Marketplace for free, as well as Nextdoor. And I had a couple of people reach out to me, and it was like first come, first serve. And the guy came yesterday at 5:30 or whatever. He said, I had a very unexpected guest drop at my door. So I was like, whatever reason. I just wanted to let everybody know that there's new bed bug bags in it, but it was really just for the protection of the mattress while it was outside. So, I mean, they weren't very expensive. I think they were like $17 each or whatever. Is that right? So I paid somebody $40 to take it away. But honestly, I was buying the bed bug mattresses because we thought we were keeping it. The fact that the covers, the fact that they're on there, I don't care. That's fine. It just helps them too. And they also took the pure air purifier. We had the big old giant air purifier that the old one we had. So Jim was like, you can take this too. It works. Just needs new filters or whatever. They get them at Lowe's. So yeah, that's where we're at with that. We are have room back in the storage shed, which I'm grateful for. I'm praying and hoping and wishing and hoping and thinking and praying that we can get this stuff from the attic down before it starts to get too cold, but while it's still not too warm and while I have Jim. I really like my autumn stuff, but what I was getting to before it was I finally have my cubies that are going to go in my new IKEA cubby thingy for my office. I finally have them in, and I can repack those boxes if I can get those boxes from my husband. I was talking to I don't know if I was talking to my sister or Lisa yesterday, but I was like, I don't know what's going on. It was Lisa. So I was like, I got all these things, and these things didn't exist in my world before. Like, they didn't exist in the craft world before, so I don't have a storage for them. And I'm like, they're in boxes waiting for me to get the bins, and I finally got the bins, and I want to fix it. Instead of having 3 giant awkwardly shaped boxes that don't nest together because they're all different shapes, I want to get them in these little cubies and line them up on the floor. And then when we go to move out the stuff because we're going to redo the floor or whatever, then, there'll be this convenient carrying case. So, cheers. That's good coffee today. I wonder if that's Italian sweet cream. That doesn't taste like any other flavor. Just saying. So, I'm going to use the word cancer right now, in not that that's my actual diagnosis on chart yet, but I'm going to use it because my brain, the way it works, it always tries to figure out why. And what I'm learning now, and I learned last year when my brother died, is that there isn't always a reason, or you don't always know the reason. Sometimes you have to settle with that, and I have been. I mean, I'm settled with a lot of things, but I still want to know why. The thing is, when it comes to cancer, there isn't always, when it comes to cancer, there isn't always a why. The oncologist saw that my 2 sisters had thyroid cancer and asked if we were genetically tested, or if they were genetically tested, and we said no. And originally, my 2 sisters are built like have the same shape. And we were like, oh, I wonder if that, and me and my other sister Alicia have like more similar shapes, like more all over type of a growth. And we have a similar diagnosis. So it's kind of like weird, but anyway, focus. I mean that like these two are hairy. We're not. They're like darker. We're not. Like it's just like this whole shit like similarity thing that But now I've joined the C group. I've maybe possibly joined the cancer group. But so he asked, and we started to like, no, we've never been tested. But then I started to think about like environmental causes, and there was some studies and some concern back. I feel like my sister told me it a long time ago, but I don't know if it's like a conspiracy thing. But I'll just tell you anyway. We had a power line pole in the back of our yard, like in our backyard. That basically we lived on the end of the block, so we like started. My house was on the street. Basically, my house was on this street, but it faced in the same direction as the houses on this street. So my house was askew on the corner property. So it looked like it was lined up with these houses, even though that it was on this street, if that makes any sense. So the telephone pole, but it was like power line, in the back of my house went to feed the entire block. And there was some concern at one point about like radon. That was like, is there radon emitting from that power transformer? And is it too much enough? And I was like, that was the first thing my head went to when environmental causes came up. And I lived there the longest percentage of my life. Not still actually is if I've been moved out, no, because my brother 5 years, so that's more than now my brother has lived there. But for you guys don't know that the house that got flooded was the house that they like brought me home from the hospital, and it was the only place I ever lived to that point. We did have an apartment at the group home from 2006 to 2008, but I pretty much lived at home. I took the job at the group home and I slept there 5 nights a week, but I did that so I could be home during the day with my dad, and my brother was home at night with my dad. So we were able to I did that, but I really considered that I didn't move. I just considered that I worked there because it felt like work, even though it was an apartment. You couldn't get to the apartment without entering work. There wasn't a private entrance, which sometimes a lot of group homes have private entrances for their live-in staff, but this didn't have a private entrance. You had to go through the group home. So it didn't really feel like home. It felt like probably one of the reasons why that, along with the house, that the house thing was really the thing. But I think when my brother told me that my house was it was totaled, is what he said. Those were his words. So I was like, that means I'm going to tear it down. He goes, most likely. So then I was just like, 2 weeks notice, I'm out. If the group home apartment had felt more like a home, I probably would have hung out a little bit like longer, but it didn't. It felt like work. So, and I had been there for 6 months full time, other than going home to clean the house up, pack my stuff up and rip out floors and walls and stuff. Yeah, that's why. So, I lived there from birth till I was 42 and 3 months. 3.5 months. And actually, by the time I was finishing cleaning up the place, it was really 42.5 years. But I guess I didn't live full time those months. But for 42.5 years, I lived there. My first 42.5 years, I lived there. So my brother lived there from...
Here's your reminder. Take my meds.
Sorry. My brother lived there from 1960 66, 65. Yeah, from 1965 until, like, he still lives there. But in 1989, he moved to the upstairs apartment. And then about a year and a half, 2 years ago, he moved to the downstairs apartment. So, or the downstairs part of the house, the original part of the house. So he lived in the downstairs house from, sorry, I'm going to take these while you guys are sitting here. It's Sunday, so it's Med's day anyway. He lived downstairs from 65 to 89, so that's 24 years. And then the last two have been 26, 27 years maybe. So if it's environmental for the address, that's one thing. But if it's environmental for the downstairs location, I don't know what would be such a huge difference other than, like, on the ground floor is X, Y, and Z. You know, like, on the ground floor, we had, I don't know, closer to the ground where pesticides could have been, or arsenic. I don't know what I'm saying, but you guys know what I'm saying, because I hope somebody knows what I'm saying. Cheers. I realized, since I'm going to post this today, you guys won't see the video that I made yesterday until tomorrow. I got my rainbow cobbler in the mail yesterday. Yay! Actually, technically it came Friday. But Friday I was at that appointment all day and didn't open it till yesterday. So, this is out of here. No more making med mistakes. I'll tell you that much. So I'm grateful for that. Okay. Just to be normal now and just say, hey, today we got to do meds. I'm going to try to do them while I'm still sitting up. Today's laundry day. Hopefully I'll be able to sit up and fold laundry. I'm feeling really good. I am feeling a little discomfort in my back, behind my hip, on my, like, my right buttocks. No, it's really my hip back here. But mostly I feel like that's, like, the pain that I get sometimes when I stretch for the first time during the day. Like, kind of like old people pain. Because I really didn't use that particular muscle as often as I had in the past. The hardest part about sitting up has been the way I do it. So in the past, I've always laid to the right, scooched my booty back as far as I can, and then I would flip to the left so I could center myself and scooch my booty back as far as I can all the way to the headboard. As you guys have seen me, like, do the rollover really hurts. Sorry, I got pill burps. Excuse me. The rollover really hurts. So the rolling over hurt to scooch the booty back, and then the sitting up back in the seated position, like basically rolling back on my booty. That was took a little effort, but it was good because, like I mentioned to the doctor, it's like Pilates because you tighten your core to, like, not hurt your other parts of your body. So it was good. I don't know that I'm going to stay. What I think I might do, and I've done this in the past, like when I first started my YouTube channel and Jimmy was working overnights, I would spend, around the time Jimmy was working overnights at Burger King, I would sit up in bed and then I would flop onto his pillows and then I would sit back up and I would flop onto his pillows because the TV used to be over there. And to watch the TV without, like, turning my neck the whole time, I would just, like, reposition myself. So I might just do that. I might just flop on his pillows for a little while so then I could sit back up in a little bit and maybe deal with those boxes. Or I can deal with those boxes from the chair, commode / area. But we'll see. I'll see how I feel. But for right now, I feel like I need to, like, let you guys go. I appreciate everybody. I do. I love you guys. And thank you for sticking out with me. And I will continue to accept all the healing prayers that you guys want to send. I'll take all the positive energy that you can emit my way without taking it from yourself. Okay? All right. I love you. And when we know more for sure, we will share more for sure. Okay? So I'm sorry to keep you with like, this looks bad, but we'll wait till tomorrow. But I wanted to just be upfront and transparent. Okay? That's it. So I love you guys. And as always, you take care. God bless. And I'll see you next time. Bye.